Tonight on KGW News, a brush fire spreads quickly in the gorge,
I found out it was right in my backyard.
forcing people to flee their homes. Plus,
You will always be remembered. We wish you so much love and peace.
how a school community gathered to remember a Portland teenager killed by a suspected drunk driver. Then, a KGW follow-up investigation into food assistance funds wiped out by crooks.
The first thought is, well, what do I do now?
2 years on, why Oregon is still lagging when it comes to making these cards more secure. And later, how President Trump's tariffs and what some would call threats have trickled down into tourism.
Portland still loves Canada, and we're hoping to see them come back whenever they're ready, and hopefully soon.
Welcome to the news. I'm David Mulco. We begin at 11 with a high school community in mourning after a Portland teenager was killed, authorities say, by a drunk driver in a wrong-way crash. Catherine Cook is just back from a vigil in Michael OBrien's honor. Catherine?
David Miko, as his friends called him, was a senior at Roosevelt High School and just days away from graduating. Friends say he was loved. And at tonight's vigil, the void he left behind was very clear.
Life is not ever going to be the same going through life without him.
It's not the senior send-off anyone here wanted at Roosevelt High School,
Miko, you are so full of joy and laughter.
or how they ever imagined parting with Michael Miko OBrien.
Miko, you are one of the kindest, most compassionate people I have ever known. Rest easy.
18-year-old Miko, along with fellow seniors Jack Craig and Will Reinhart, were driving west on SR 14 Monday night. Miko was behind the wheel when police say a car driving in the wrong direction crashed into the teens. Miko was killed. His friends were seriously injured and are recovering in the hospital.
We're just coming together as a community to let the family know we're thinking of them.
Roosevelt Principal K.D. Parman says this candlelight vigil is how students wanted to remember Miko, and so many others gathered alongside them. They loved Miko too.
Just seeing how our community has responded to this loss and to who he was in our community, it's been really clear how much he was loved and cared about.
Mr. Moer, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you.
On Wednesday, 23-year-old Eric Moer appeared before a judge for the first time, charged with vehicular homicide and vehicular assault. Court documents show Moya's blood alcohol level was .228 an hour and a half after the crash. Police also found several open containers in his car.
The allegations here very alarming in terms of a public safety component.
Just seriously, please support each other, you guys.
For Miko's friends, those details just add to the pain of their loss. A goodbye that will never feel final.
And you will always be remembered. We wish you so much love and peace.
Eric Moer is scheduled to be arraigned on June 11th. He remains lodged in the Clark County Jail on $500,000 bail. David.
Thanks, Catherine. Appreciate your reporting. Tonight, firefighters have contained a nearly 3-acre fire in Moer that broke out this afternoon, prompting level 3 go-now evacuations and sending some residents scrambling. Alma McCarty has the update from the gorge.
Just before fire season officially begins, volunteers here in Moer, joined by other agencies, contained a nearly 3-acre fire Wednesday afternoon. That blaze burning a little too close for comfort.
The one thing about Moer is this community knows fire.
At the end of a private road, fire crews spent a windy Wednesday mopping up.
Fuel type that was burning was kind of flashy, light fuels, as far as I know. So they were able to kind of get here quickly and put containment line around it.
Andy Dwyer with ODF explains they had eyes on the situation through their camera detection system.
So we've been monitoring it pretty closely and watching as it evolved.
We're lucky that we live in a small town that's still kind of wild, but because of that, you have fires.
Residents here keeping an eye out too as the Wasco County Sheriff's Office shared evacuation notifications. Susan Froelich, driving back from Bend, says neighbors kept her in the loop.
About Madras, I started getting texts, are you okay? Do you need to spend the night here? We've got homes for you, we've got beds for you. And I'm going, what? And then I found out it was right in my backyard.
She's grateful firefighters moved quickly so that it didn't spread farther.
Anything can spark a fire. Trains are notorious for sparking fires, but people are too. So I would say be uber careful.
ODF tells me that crews will continue to monitor this area well into Thursday to make sure that the fire is fully contained. In Moser, Alma McCarty, KGW News.
A little good news from the gorge there. Okay, let's take you outside on this Wednesday night. Things were feeling pretty toasty today, albeit with a nice breeze out there. 61 degrees in the Rose City with a change, it appears, headed our way. Matt Safino's here with a first look at your weather impact forecast. Matt?
Hey, David, thanks very much. We're going to start back out in the gorge right now. This is the Dalles. We normally want to show this scene at night because city lights and the river out there, but the weather is important. 74 degrees, but look at the winds. West sustained at 22, gusting to nearly 40 miles an hour right now. That's a little unusual for this time of the night, even in a windy place like the Dalles when we get a lot of west wind this time of the year. That is a very, very strong wind. Let's check some other wind reports out in that part of the gorge. And look at Hood River. The east side of Hood River sustained at 38, Rowena 16. So it is just ripping through the gorge right now. So it's a really good thing those firefighters were able to do the incredible work that they did and get that fire under control so quickly. In Portland right now, it is 60 degrees. So it's cooled off quite rapidly tonight. Our winds are light. They're out of the west, northwest right now. But look at this. We're looking at double-digit cooling across most of the metro compared to the same time last night. 9, 10, 16 degrees cooler than 11 o'clock last night as this cooler air from the coast flooded into the valleys. The hot weather is now all over in eastern Oregon. Joseph, 12 degrees warmer at this hour compared to the same time last night. So we will still see some sprinkles tomorrow morning, and then we warm up again Friday, begin to cool down Saturday, and some pleasant weather as we kind of even things out after that. Our day planner will show you that we will be only in the 70s tomorrow. So again, a big change from today, David.
Yeah, big change. See you in a little bit, Matt. Get you caught up on tonight's other headlines now. A family is suing a memory care facility after their mother was left outside for hours in near 100-degree heat, they say, then died from a heat-related illness. This was last August at Aspen Ridge in Bend. When Celia Hess was taken to the hospital, her temperature was 109 degrees. She died a couple of days later. Hess's family is now suing Aspen Ridge and its then parent company, Frontier Senior Living, for $17 million.
She was not being provided the services that she deserved. And so, there's always regret or wondering, could we have done something different? But we trusted them to keep her safe, and they failed in that.
The management team at Aspen Ridge declined to comment. We also reached out to Frontier Senior Living, but have not heard back. In Hillsborough, police are asking for help identifying a man they say sexually assaulted a person at a Mac stop last week while they were sleeping. Around 4 a.m. last Tuesday, investigators say the man you see here pulled up to 12th and Washington in a white van, assaulted the victim, then took off in the same vehicle. If you recognize him or the van, call Hillsborough Police. And officials have released images of a suspect they say broke into a transportation yard and made off with 6 catalytic converters. This was over Memorial Day weekend at the Reynolds School District yard where school buses are kept. Now, each catalytic converter is worth about $4,500. The district describing the suspect as wearing a black hoodie with a black and red backpack in a white 90s Ford passenger van. Tonight, an update to a KGW investigation into low-income families headed to the grocery store only to find their SNAP benefits have been stolen. I mean, we're talking cards with 0 balances. Investigative reporter Kyle Boshi first exposed the problem a couple of years ago and has since learned in Oregon it hasn't gotten any better.
For Gene Forsty and his family, SNAP benefits are a lifeline. They help put food on the table. So you can imagine his worry when the Salem man looked at his account just hours after monthly benefits had been loaded and discovered someone else had made a purchase for $590. The online order was from a Walmart store almost 800 miles away in Rialto, California.
Well, at first I just figured that it was, a mistake.
Gene quickly tried to freeze his account, but it was too late. A second purchase had already been made for $581, this time at a Walmart store in San Bernardino, California. Within minutes, the crooks had wiped out his account.
All your month's funds are gone?
Yeah, it's definitely a bit gut-wrenching because the first thought is, well, what do I do now?
Previously, KGW reported on this very same issue, low-income families who had SNAP benefits stolen.
I know there is money in there. My money was gone.
We rely on those food benefits to eat.
Over the past 2 years, the USDA reports it's replaced $2.2 million in stolen SNAP benefits from Oregon residents. But that program ended in December, leaving victims with no way to buy groceries.
To take somebody's money that they use to feed their families is the lowest of the low.
Crooks often skim cards by secretly installing a device on ATM readers, then create duplicates and drain accounts. In April, the Oregon Department of Justice charged 19 people with stealing SNAP benefit cards around the country, then using the money to purchase baby formula, which was then sold on the black market. The feds filed a similar case involving many of the same suspects.
At what point do we start going, okay, this is too easy. We need to beef up our security here.
Last year, the USDA pushed states to modernize SNAP benefits, including the introduction of chip cards for SNAP EBT. Currently, Oregon Trail cards used for SNAP benefits don't have a chip, making them ripe for fraud.
It's a basic security for every bank, every credit union, and that transaction is encrypted. But SNAP EBT users can't count on that security, unfortunately.
In November, the U.S. Secretary of Agriculture sent Oregon's governor this letter encouraging the transition to SNAP chip cards, noting the cost would be reimbursed by the federal government at 50%. Documents provided to KGW by the state suggest upgrading SNAP cards in Oregon would take about 2 years at a cost of roughly $17 million.
The urgency is now, and the state needs to take action on this. Even though it'll be costly and it'll be complex, folks deserve to know that their basic assistance is on their card when they go to the grocery store.
California started issuing SNAP cards with chip technology, and Oklahoma will soon follow. But in Oregon, low-income families don't have that protection. Over the past 2 years, more than 6,000 households in the state have reported stolen benefits.
When you ask about SNAP card security, you can pretty much just go, what security? Because there's really none.
In the meantime, the state of Oregon offers a couple suggestions. First, freeze your card between uses. It's an extra layer of protection. To do so, go to the EBT Edge or website. You can also unfreeze it when you're ready to make additional purchases. Block out-of-state purchases and online purchases. That too can be done through the website or the app. And finally, monitor your account. If you see any suspicious activity, report it right away. Kyle Aboshi, KGW News.